Hi, I wanted to talk today about education. We think traditionally of education as a scenario where the teacher's standing up in front of the classroom, the kids are sitting in their desks and listening. But we also want to think about, is this the best way to educate? Is this the only way to educate? Or are there other options or things that we can use? And one topic that's become hot within the education circles are educational games. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about what is it that's interesting and intriguing about educational games. First, there's been a lot of research, academics, and institutions studying games and how they can be used to educate kids. There are plenty of journal articles out there. Here's one right here, Games for Health. And there's also journals and articles being published on education specifically. And but while you can read all these articles and think about them, and there's a lot of really great and interesting data in these studies, I think it's also important to think about, why should games even be looked at in the first place? What is it that's intriguing or interesting about games? First of all, over 90% of kids already play video games. So there has to be something about the games that's drawing them in and engaging them. So we have to dig deeper into thinking, what is it that's in these games that gets the kids interested? Is it just because it's monsters or shooting games or so on? Or could the content and information in the game be different and yet kids still be interested? One thing about the games is that the kids get rewarded in the games. And there's a lot of information. It's delivered in a way that they like, in a way that intrigues and interests them. Rather than just listening and sitting statically in a chair while someone talks at you, you can actually do things. You can use your hands, you can think about what you're doing, you can engage with the characters on the screen. And so you're actually learning by doing things and by thinking in the spur of the moment, rather than just passively sitting and listening and trying to absorb the information. So I think that's one of the most compelling things about games, is it really immerses you and gets you involved in what you're hearing, experiencing, and learning about. Plus, you're getting rewards through the games by the activities that you take. And if you do them well and you're showing that you're excelling at the game, you understand the game mechanics and what you need to do to get rewarded, then you can get extra points, maybe special hat for your character, or whatever kind of rewards that the game gives. So I think these are some of the really compelling things that happen in games today. And in developing our game, these are some of the issues that we struggled with and that we faced. And we feel like we did a really great job at integrating these two parts of the game. On the one hand, trying to teach kids about something, and on the other, being fun. Because at the end of the day, if the game isn't fun, then you don't have anything. It has to be as engaging and fun as all the other things that are competing for kids' time. So that's an important aspect of what we did. And we didn't just decide ourselves, hey, this is what we think is fun. We went out and talked to kids in groups, and we asked them to try the game. Even when it was first being developed in different stages, we created a board game and we got them to play it. And we said, hey, is this something that you're having fun with? Do you like doing this kind of game? We even got input on the initial topic of the game. So we didn't just come up with the idea of racing strategy game on our own. We brought the idea to kids and we asked them with a list of ideas, would you like this sort of game? Would you like that sort of game? So at every step of the way as we were developing our game, we brought it back to the kids because we didn't want to assume that we knew what we were talking about. So I think these are some really critical things that people need to think about and do when they're developing educational games. I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit with me about educational games and thinking about some alternatives for how we can teach kids in the classroom. Because the traditional ways don't always work for every kid. And while we do have to learn some information and have information imparted to the kids through the teachers, there's also other things that we can add in and other fun things that we can do to engage kids, because each kid is going to learn by a different method. And so I hope you just thought a little bit about how games can be used in education. Thanks for listening to us. I'm Candice Hughes, CEO of AdapTac Games. Thank you for listening.